Hello Mouses! Today Jenny and I are fancying a chocolate cake, but due to the fact that I'm wheat intolerant, I have an allergy, we can't just go out and buy a chocolate cake, so we bought the ingredients. So today I'm going to show you how to make a wheat-free chocolate sponge cake. You'll need several ingredients for this. First and foremost, you'll need the wheat-free flour. We're using bread flour here because that way you don't need baking soda or anything like that. And you'll also need some unsalted butter. Unsalted is best. You can use salted if you put an extra bit of sugar, but it's better if you don't. Got some vanilla extract because that'll help very nicely. Double cream for the centre. Caster sugar. Milk chocolate because we're going to coat the outside of the cake in chocolate once we're finished. And to add the chocolatey goodness, we do of course need drinking chocolate. The reason I'm using drinking chocolate is we can reduce the amount of sugar that we need to put in because it's already in the chocolate, and it will give us the powdered cocoa that we'll need. And last but not least, 3 eggs. It's a very simple recipe, so let's get straight on with it. Okay, we start by measuring out 8 ounces or 220 grams of the flour, and we put that into a bowl over here. And we add to the flour 4 ounces or 110 grams of caster sugar, and the same amount again of cocoa powder. Just add that in. Again, no need to sift it, it's fine as it is. Now crack in 3 large eggs, add a dash of vanilla, and chop up 8 ounces of butter. You don't have to chop it up, but it does make it an awful lot easier if you do, because then it makes the mixing together an awful lot quicker. Now, as a final touch, and something that I forgot to tell you about, you have to put in 1 tablespoon of milk, and this will just help bind everything else together. Now at this point you're probably going to want to use an electric whisk to stir it all together. Okay, definitely use one because I am not spending half an hour whisking stuff when I can spend 5 minutes with this. Okay, now that we've whisked it thoroughly, we've got it to a very strange sticky consistency, that's fine. So we're going to go and turn the oven on. We're going to set to preheat at 180 degrees, and we've melted a little bit of butter. I'm going to use a basting brush here and just quickly lightly coat the bottom of 2 sandwich tins, and that's what we're going to put our stuff into. We'll just line both of the tins with a little bit of baking foil. Now we're going to add big spoonfuls of this lovely mushy stuff. Slip these into the oven for 25 minutes until they turn crisp on the top. They won't rise too much because of course this is wheat-free flour. So it's been 25 minutes, we're just going to take them out of the oven now. Let them stand for about 10 minutes just to cool down a little bit while we prepare the cream that goes in the middle. Okay, now we've whisked up the cream and it looks wonderful. We're just going to apply it liberally to the top of our cake over here with a spoon. And there we have it, the cake is almost finished now. All we need to do is coat it in chocolate. Okay, now when you put in the cream, do remember not to squeeze down on the cake, because it makes for a complete mess. It'll look fine once I've covered it all in chocolate. Talking about the chocolate, we've got it here in this bowl. What I'm going to do when the kettle is clicked is fill this larger bowl with hot water and then put this on top of it. It'll sit quite nicely on top, and then the heat from the hot water will gently melt the chocolate. You can see there that the chocolate is starting to melt. It's all coming together now. We're just going to keep stirring it gently so that the last of it all melts in. If you want to make it easy to cut through, you might want to put a little bit of butter into the chocolate at this point and let that melt and mix in as well. That'll soften the chocolate up and make it easier to cut through with a knife. And there we have it, one lovely scrumptious looking chocolate cake with chocolate on top. And yes, the sides could have been tidied up, but I thought since it's basically a homemade cake for me to just eat as I please, it doesn't really matter. But if you want, you can put a bit more effort in and make it look really nice. And now as a final piece, if you've cut the cake and it looks really nice, try putting a little cream over the top just to finish it off.